Well, good afternoon. Happy lunchtime, everybody. And we're back. Welcome to the Steakhouse. Dan Vaughan with you. Yes, I'm back in good old US of A. Good to see Bobby out there, Cheryl as well. Glad you guys are along today. I got a big show, loaded show for you. And we're glad you're here talking Kansas City T-Bones baseball. As you see, the open sign is on as we like to give you. Actually, I brought the new open sign in. There we go. The open sign is in, and we're glad you guys are along talking T-Bones baseball here on a Wednesday edition. That's right, Wednesday edition. The open sign. It's I've always wanted one of those. I got to get me one of these open signs and maybe put it in the broadcast booth and just it's always open. Glad you guys are along. Are you hearing me? Thumbs up, which I believe that means you're hearing me. So if you give me a thumbs up, you folks that are tuning in, let me know you're hearing me. We're glad you're along. Loaded show for you today. I got a couple of guests. We're going to also catch up with you guys, find out what's going on. I want to hear from you. But first, I'll preview the show. Coming up in the second half, Dylan Tice will be joining us. Looking forward to hearing from Dylan. Tice, baby. Love to hear from Dylan all the time. We're also going to do the Vaughan household live cam. Yes, we're going to do a little live peek into what's going on in the rest of the house because I'm kind of hunkered down in my little room. What's going on in other rooms of the house? We'll do that as well. Also, maybe we'll check in with our friend Morgan to find out what she's doing at her T-Bones Promotion Central. Also, at the top here in a moment, Joe Calfapietra will be joining us to get this thing started, get you a hot stove update. We'll find out what Joe's doing and how his family's doing and how he's doing there in the Philly area, and also get you caught up on the hot stove and get you caught up on all that. Jim's with us today as well. Jim, you hearing me? You guys are hearing me? I guess we're all rocking and rolling, which is good. And glad the open sign is up and we are ready to roll right here. And I want to hear from you. What I want to hear from you guys today is tell me and tell us all as a group what you're doing. What are you doing? I mean, we're all in this boat together. We're all one big happy quarantine. There's self-isolation, social distance family. We're all there. We're all in the same boat, whether we be in Kansas City, Philadelphia, Dallas, or Timbuktu. We're all in the same boat. So I want to hear what you're doing. Maybe, for example, in our house, our goal, we have several. One is to do more family walking together. That only has happened once. Number two, our goal is not to kill each other. And so far, no casualties yet. But I think one of the goals my wife has for me is for me to go in and clean out my closet and create some room in the closet. I don't know what's wrong with my closet, but apparently I take up too much room. So that's one thing we'll be doing, at least and maybe your house is different. Maybe we're going to do recipe. Maybe it's something in the backyard, but everybody's doing something. I want to hear from you guys what you're doing as you're kicking it to wherever you are. So let us know how everything's going. I do believe I hear in the background as Jake's is playing baseball on PS4, so getting his fix. By the way, if you do have questions for either one of our guests today, please fire away, and I'll get those to you as well. But I'm going to go ahead and jump in because I do believe I hear in the background, and I'm going to bring him up to us right now. And he is joining us via there he is right there, Joe Calfapietra. How you doing, sir?
Good. How you guys doing?
What's going on there?
Yeah, it's crazy times. Just it's a little quiet right now.
Yeah. I love the background there. I got to see this place. Your office last year had the jerseys. Now you've got these looks like concert stuff maybe or player stuff. Is it like a museum there in your room? What is that?
Well, this is where we go. So this is the little getaway.
It's been a weird time. The first thing I guess I want to ask you is, has this whole isolation thing changed the business of baseball for you?
Well, I mean, right now, we would be, knee deep in a lot of stuff. With players getting released from organizations and things like that. So it's on hold right now, and hopefully we get back to normal soon.
As far as the whole baseball world, it's all secondary here. But we stay busy. We're going about things as if at some point we'll do something, and that's really not that we're talking about here. But you've been busy. Since we talked, it was 2 weeks ago, and we had after we got off the air, I guess it was 2 days later, you brought back Casey Gillespie. That's exciting news. You've got Gillespie and Sweeney now in your lineup card, a couple of big bats. That's the way things started last year. You got to be fired up to have Casey back.
Yeah, there's no doubt. Casey was a big part of our team last year, and just going out there playing every day in the middle of our lineup. I mean, he didn't take too many days off. Gamer loves to play, and we're happy to have him back.
Yeah, it's a big bat. He a familiar guy with the plan as well. He's a really steady guy too. I mean, he didn't seem to get too high, too low when he was playing well. When he had a slump, he's a real steady kind of fella there. But he's a real competitor too.
Well, he's definitely a competitor. There's no doubt about it. Sometimes that it goes against him because he wants to do so well all the time, and like all the players do, they have high goals set for themselves. And Casey's goal this year is to be a little bit more consistent, I think, on an everyday basis. He had some great streaks last year that carried us for weeks at a time, and being a little bit more consistent, I think it would be beneficial for him to get that opportunity again to get back with a major league organization.
Several of the fans out there saying, hey, Morgan says, hey, Joe. My wife says, so good to see Joe. She says hello. Nate Herron's out there watching. Others are saying, hey, goodness. Everybody's excited to see you, Joe. So your live appearance is jumping our ratings up by 1,000 points. But I appreciate it. Yeah, they're tired of seeing my big mug. But you made a trade. Henry Owens, who was a very big part of things, especially when he moved the bullpen last year. Henry was you shifted down to Sugar Land, but brought back Chuck Taylor, an outfielder. Just walk us through that scenario. What happened there?
Anytime you have to make a trade, you're going to have to give up some talent to receive talent. Chuck Taylor was a guy, switch hitter, could play all three outfield positions, very athletic, has some power, fits into what we're trying to do offensively. It was very, very difficult to have to move Henry. But again, without being redundant, you have to give up talent to get talent. And, we just don't know what this new world is going to be with players being available and things like that. So you're kind of navigating in the dark a little bit.
Also, late in the week, or I guess it'll be earlier this week, the week I was gone. So this week, Monday, Evan Corson coming back, a guy that you love those rookies, those young LS1s and rookie players. And this is a guy that had a pretty good year combined between Lincoln and Kansas City. A good bullpen piece. And like you talk about, you got to have those young bodies.
Yeah, I mean, Evan still classifies as a rookie for us, which is important. And, we kind of put him in a little bit different role than Lincoln had him in last year. We kind of put him in the fire, pitched some big innings for us down the stretch. And I think that's going to bode well really for him this year. He wasn't that guy just to kind of throw in. We used him. We feel that he could take that role on, and we're looking forward to seeing him, in the 2020 season.
Now, you mentioned a moment ago this climate has changed. So do things slow down from here for you? Are you kind of in a wait-and-see mode for you?
Well, it is. It's slowed down because, this would be the end of March. Release is coming through and trying to put the pieces of the puzzle together. We really don't know the status of Major League Baseball, when they're going to get back up and running. We're praying every day that just for the world that we get back on our feet. And then, all the things will follow after that.
As far as let's how we do our interviews in the summer, because Joe and I have to do this. We do this every day. Here comes Dan again. And I appreciate you guys. And we say this now, but there'll be a time in July you'll look at me and go, "Gosh, oh yeah, I got to talk to you again." But I appreciate all your time. But we always try to do a little lighter stuff, especially in the weekends. And so I want to ask you: are you doing any honey-dos? You got any tasks you're doing at home? I always thought maybe Joe has a kind of a kitchen thing. Do you do any cooking or anything yourself?
No, my wife is home and she does a lot. The kids are home, so they're always helping around in the house, and just some time that unfortunately this has been put in front of us all, but it is some time that we probably haven't spent this much time together in a long, long time.
Yeah, I looked up today, Joe. I was walking the dog this morning. I looked up and I thought there's somebody behind me about a block away. I'm like, some woman's getting a little too close. I realized it was my wife trying to play catch up. We thought we're going to walk the dog together finally. So I mean, yeah, we're
Nice.
doing a little more of that. So I didn't know maybe you were doing some. I have a honey-do list, so I know because I'm not a. I mean, I'm not as. I'm just not a very good guy. Sometimes I'm a bit of a tough guy, but I got a long list of things to do. Do you have a long list of things to do, or you going to get to them?
No, whatever my wife asked me to do, I'll get done.
Spoken like a true husband. I love it, hey, Joe. Hey, you just took the words out of my mouth. I appreciate your time, and I hope the family's doing well. I know you guys are a close knit group, and we always love having you guys. And we will talk to you, I guess, in another week or so. How about that?
It sounds great. Tell everyone I said hello, and I'm glad to be a part of it.
I'm glad you're a part of it too, Joe. Appreciate your time and blessings to all you guys. That's Joe Calfapietra, head man of the T-Bones. Appreciate his time joining us there on the Steakhouse. And my wife says we should have seen the girl. Yeah, well, we should have a live cam there and let Joe walk around the house. You know what? That's what we'll do next time. Next time we'll let Joe walk around the house and the girls can give us a live shot of what's going on. Cheryl says, "Stay healthy, Joe." Good to see Scott Hall out there as well. Brad asking, with the number of Atlantic League guys jumping, Brad, I'm sorry to get this a moment ago, and I should have asked Joe this, but the number of Atlantic League guys jumping over to the Association 2020 in terms of the talent of the Association talent pools. Brad, that's a really good question, and I'm going to save that for next week. But I'm going to give you what I think's happening, and I think you're seeing a lot of that too. You get a lot of, you've got a lot of. I just know from my standpoint, Brad, I know where you're coming from, that you've got a lot of guys that maybe my first year was 2013, and it was very rare then to have big leaguers, former big leaguers. It was very rare to have those kind of players involved in the association. You'd get an Atlantic League guy here and there, but very rarely did guys come over from the Atlantic League to the association. And it was even rare to have a big league guy. And then all of a sudden, you saw a trickle here and there, one here, one there, a guy maybe trying to find his way back. But now, I think, Brad, and you as a Cleveland guy would know this as well. We'll get you on. I have you kind of penciled in for 2 weeks, Brad, but I hadn't even reached out to tell you that yet. But you and Ditting both at the same time. But Brad, of course, is the voice of our rival Cleveland Railroaders and a good mate of ours and a good fan, just a good friend of ours in our league. But I'm seeing it too. I think a couple of things. I think a little bit comes from the 2 years ago when the Atlantic League started kind of experiment just a bit with some of their rules. I think that because it used to be the Atlantic League played a longer season. There was more games, more opportunities, more at bats, more innings, whatever you want to call it, to be seen. I think that's part of it. But I also think you started guys saying, well, you know what? I don't know if I want to have a robot umpire or these different the third strike rule they brought in or whatever rules they put in. They've kind of become the guinea pig for Major League Baseball to try some things here and there. It was a couple of years ago that whole pitch clock that they now have in the big leagues was started as an experiment in the Atlantic League. So some players, not a lot, but a few were starting to think, you know what, maybe I should give other teams a look. And I think that helped a little bit. Guys like Joe Capietra, Rick Forney, George Samus, guys that are getting quality talent in our league, continue to infuse quality talent. Just seeing those kind of players, that helps too, just bring in new talent. And then B, I think too, or C, I guess I should say, I think the third thing would be you've just got a situation where the talent's just migrating. They realize the association, the ballparks, quite frankly, are top notch. There's not, they're all pretty top notch. The Atlantic League's been a little up and down ballpark wise and location wise, and stability of the league. The association is never been as stable as far as independent ball. It's the most stable of all of them. So I'm kind of gave a lot of long answers there. The pitching has definitely been better. Brad, you're right. Yeah, I wish I would have I'm sorry. pull the curtain back. My printer didn't work this morning. I don't know why. We were going vacay, and so my run sheets on my screen, and I was looking back and forth the screen. So I missed your question, Brad, but you're right on to see what you're saying about pitching. I agree with you because I remember my 13th season, the year that Gary won the association title. I believe that year we saw one former big league arm, and that was it. But now you're seeing, if you remember last year, Kansas City rolled out a couple of series, you'd see three former big leaguers in one series. And it wasn't uncommon to see that. And now you're seeing that more and more. You saw it on Wichita when they were in the league. You're seeing more and more of that around the league. But I do agree that definitely talent better. A couple questions to get to as well as we are rolling down here. And again, coming up, we'll be hearing in a few minutes from this gentleman right here, one and only Dylan Tice. He'll join us at the bottom of the hour in about 8 minutes or so. And let's see here. What else we got? Construction, a question was asked too, has not stopped. Any updates will be regarding stadium upgrades? Yes, it's not stopped. The upgrades are still going. Here's the thing, really, as far as the association's concerned, all of our member clubs, we're all in the same boat. We business as usual as it can be, okay? Obviously, we're not all working from the ballpark. We're all working in our various offices. That's been going on. Every club in the league is all in that same boat, so we're all doing that. Right now, we're not worried about things like ticket sales and things of that nature. We're in a way, we're like you. We're trying to get through this thing together, and we're trying to put together our best smile forward and try to fight through it and get through it. So we're not really worrying about those things. What we are concerned about is at some point, we're going to get back to business as usual. And when we do, we'll be ready to smile and have that hot dog and that cold brew and enjoy a night at the ballpark with the T-Bones or whatever the team is that you follow. And we'll all be back there. And we're kind of looking forward to that. But we're kind of in a bit of a holding pattern. At the moment, the association is planning on starting their schedule as planned. But that obviously could change. And when it does, we will let you know. So right now we're all in the same holding pattern in the same boat. So we'll get to that, and I will get to a couple more of your questions as well. Let's see here. Stay healthy, Joe, from Cheryl. Brad Allred getting a shout out from Morgan. Rob Olson, staying safe, my friend. Aaron saying how the construction has talked about that. Millie joined us as well. Gary Thomas and others. And you can call as well on your ticket questions as well. So there we go. Get caught up. Thanks for Joe for joining us. And now I'm going to jump on right into this gentleman joining us as I've given a 3, 2, 1 countdown. There he is on the screen. I'm going to pull the overlay up there as well. And he is a member, which he doesn't know this. He's probably could care less, and I don't blame him. But he's a member of the Dan Vaughan can play on my team any day team, which means he along with Babe Ruth, Shoeless Joe Jackson, and this gentleman right here, Dylan Tice, joins us. Dylan, how you doing, my friend?
I'm good, Dan. How you doing?
Doing good, bud. All right, so off the top, I know you've been doing some other things in life. What are you doing when this whole off season's going on, and now you've got this bonus off season? What are you doing?
Yeah, now it's a little different. The answer's a little different than if you would have asked me a month ago. But I mean, now we're just trying to stay active. We're trying to find things to do. Obviously, trying to keep working out and hitting and throwing and all those things and staying ready. But you can only be as ready as, I don't have a batting cage in my backyard as much as I wish I did. So this is probably the first time I've gone a week without swinging a bat in a long time. It's probably good for me, actually, to be honest.
No. Yeah, so that's good, right? Your body's going to heal.
Yeah, and luckily I have weights. We have a whole weight set in our basement and things, so I've been able to stay in shape and stay strong and things like that. But obviously, we're trying to keep our minds healthy too, not lose our minds here. So when I'm at my fiance's house, we're going on a lot of walks, spending a lot of family time. Spending a lot of time with my sister who lived in Washington for 2 years and things like that, and my dad who's retired and things now too. So we're taking full advantage.
Yeah, I told Joe this a while ago when Joe was on. I was walking the dog this morning, and one of the things we talked about as a family is walking together more and doing more. I look up and there's a woman a block away, and I went, "Wait, that's my wife following me." All of a sudden, she's playing catch up. We're like we finally walked the dog together for the first time in like forever. So we're doing it too. Yeah. I even heard you were playing bingo or something. Morgan told me there was a bingo game going on. That I missed this online. Did I miss something the family was doing?
Yeah, absolutely. So I've been staying at my fiance's apartment in Conshohocken, which is outside of Philly. My parents live in Bucks County, which is about 45 minutes north, and my oldest sister has 4 children she lives in Roxborough with, and then my youngest brother lives in North Carolina. So we have all 4 of us. We all Skyped in or Actually, I think we did it on Facebook. They told us how to do it. My younger sister figured it out and got everything organized, and we played bingo with all the little kid, the 4 young ones. They're what, 2, 4, 6, and 10 now. And then my fiance Madison and I, my parents, and my younger sister, my brother tuned in from North Carolina. We all played bingo.
Got a couple things here. Let's see. Cheryl says, "Hi, Dylan. Glad to see you." My wife says Dylan needs to play in AU. Amen. We need to take him to Australia, no doubt about it. Let's see here. And my wife taught at Bucks County when she came out of Penn State. Her student teaching was in Bucks County. She loved it there. Morgan says she wanted to join in the bingo. And my wife says she was in New Hope. You know where New Hope is?
Yes, I do.
I don't know where that is.
Yep.
There you go. Yep. So my wife did some work that she was at Penn State. But all right, we are in the. It's a weird time, and we know that. So it's strange, but you're still, in personal side, you're trying to plan perhaps something special in your life. I had it written down here as special, things in your life. But you said fiance. Has that changed your plans as far as you getting your plans done for your wedding?
Yeah. So we got engaged New Year's Day, January 1st. And we're supposed to have our final meeting, obviously see all the venues and you come to terms and everything. We had a final meeting set up for 2 weeks ago, and that was the first day that they canceled everything, or at least for up here in Pennsylvania. I know down south they haven't done as much, but they canceled everything. So I was like, all right, we'll postpone, trying it again next week. And now it hasn't. Obviously, we haven't been able to do it since. And my oldest sister works weddings. She's hair and makeup for weddings. That's her big thing is the summers. And these people are canceling weddings. And one couple had to postpone theirs for a year. They're supposed to get married this month, and they got pushed back a year. So we are holding off until this is done, and we are certain we aren't going to, still be dealing with this in January, which I hope not. We're planning on playing baseball this summer, but you never know. It's crazy times, and so we're waiting. We're not, we're so excited. We're still planning to have it, sometime next this coming off season, but there's so much up in the air we haven't decided to commit yet.
Morgan says, congratulations, by the way. Of course, congratulations to you, Dylan.
Thank you.
But you can always get married at the stadium. So she's planned weddings before, so you have that in your back pocket just in case.
Yeah.
Actually, you can tell Mr. Brown and I, Chris Brown and I, were part of a wedding our early career years at the ballpark in Jacksonville. I can give you some tips on that, but I think and Cheryl says she can officiate, so I can maybe do the entertain. I can sing maybe. I can karaoke, but congratulations! It's exciting. I knew that you were engaged. It's really cool and happy for you. Let's talk baseball. Just the player side of things. You are kind of one of those guys that we talk about on the air quite often. That sometimes this game, there's so many guys playing. You do get lost in the shuffle sometimes. Came from a small school. You kind of, I don't know if you were in the weeds, you want to call it, but you kind of had to make a name for yourself. Was that kind of your goal initially coming out of college? Was, hey, I got to make a name for myself?
Yes and no. It's kind of like that the whole way. Everybody tries to play with the chip on their shoulder. I kind of followed up the whole Dustin Pedroia thing. I'm small and people overlook me, blah, blah, blah. We've heard that a million times. But I basically, a lot of the showcase world and a lot of getting yourself out there and scouted is tools, and just not being the biggest guy, strongest guy. The tools, in a showcase, I don't show well. So my dad and he kind of came up with this too, is you just have to prove to everybody that you're going to have 2 hits every single night of every game for the rest of your life. I may not be able to hit a ball 500 feet. I'm not going to show you that. I'm not going to throw the ball 105 miles an hour, but put me in the lineup, I'll get on base twice for you, regardless of what happens. And that's kind of what I've tried to make my game, and then obviously add to that. I'd like to add some power and some stolen bases and defense. Obviously, those things are all very, very important, but just consistency, where every day you know exactly what you're going to get out of me, and it's better than the guy next to me.
Are you one of those guys? Because some guys are like this. I mean, I love the game. But oftentimes when I find myself away from the game, I'm watching something else. Do you watch baseball a lot? Do you spend a lot of time watching the game? just to try to grab extra maybe insight, or when you're away from the game, are you away from the game?
So I grew up watching the game every night, and that was where my dad taught me kind of how to, he taught me how the game of baseball, how to win a baseball game. What you do here when we throw, when we don't, when we bunt, when we steal, things like that. And as I've gotten older and as I've played, obviously we play at 7:00, so I don't get to watch the big league games. We watch recaps, so
Right.
We get to watch Sports Center and see Twitter. You see all the things like that, but I haven't watched much baseball at all, to be honest. I've done watched a lot of swings. I've watched guys take ground balls. So any kind of YouTube or any kind of inside information or inside video they give us throughout ESPN, or some of these players in the big leagues are doing it themselves with their posting stuff. Trevor Bauer does a lot of that stuff.
Right.
I dig into that a lot. I just watch swing after swing, and I love that stuff. But as far as sitting down and watching a full 9-inning baseball game in the big leagues, I can't remember the last time I did it, to be honest.
Brad Allred, our friend in Cleburne, the voice of the Railroader, is asking, he notices you wearing the All-Star hoodie, and what were your thoughts on the All-Star festivities and the game last year? With so much talent in the game, who stood out to you the most in the All-Star game when you were there last year in St. Paul?
Ale Lago.
He's something
former
else.
Teammate, and I only played with him for a short time. He came in right before I had gotten signed by the Mets, and he didn't hit like he does for those 2 weeks. So I knew he could hit. I knew he could play, but he wasn't the hitter I saw after I left, watching him take him, him and Perry and those guys go in the championship. And then this year, the hitter he was. But I remember watching the home run derby, and the home run derby is like you get the time, you have X amount, 2 minutes, hit as many as you can. So they swing at every pitch. And the guy went in, homer, in, homer, in, homer, and the guy missed out over the plate, and he went homer opposite field in a home run derby up on the ledge there in St. Paul. And that was kind of like, my God, that was just too easy. It was just so easy for him, where there's lefties hitting the wall, they can't get out to that part of the yard. And he went backside by accident in a home run derby, guy throwing 50 miles an hour. I just thought that was really impressive.
Yeah.
And he does on both sides of the ball too. Don't forget how good defensively that kid is. He can play.
One of my favorite, that was you were already that left us that late in July. And I was going to ask you about that in a moment, but the Ale Lago home run in the postseason, it just was. What I love about the guy, of course, he's a nice young man, a phenomenal ball player, but he's got a great name. Ale. It made my broadcast easy.
Yeah.
Of course, I got to tell you this story. I don't know if I've told you this, and I told the fans this. When we re-signed you last year after the 18th season, I wrote the headline on the website, Tice baby. And I had an old fan reach out to me going, I don't understand what that meant. Now, I thought, well, I'm an 80s kid, so to me, Vanilla Ice, a Dallas guy. And so if people give me that whole ice baby thing, that wasn't original, was it? Somebody's surely done that before, haven't they?
I've had ice. I've been called that. I've never had the ice baby thrown in with the musician. I haven't, but I know who he is. I know who you're talking about. I got the joke, but I'm not that far off. But no,
I was trying to make it creative and just said Dylan Tice signs.
Yeah,
I was trying to have some fun with it. Get the fan. I had a fan reach out to me and go, I don't quite get that. I went, either I'm real young. Well, maybe feel young because the gentleman was older. I'm thinking maybe I'm really young, but all good. Let's see here. Brad says we're excited to have you guys. Brad was talking about Ale Lago. They're going to be in Cleburne, so we'll see him as well.
He's in Cleburne now?
Yeah, he's in Cleburne. Yeah, he's in Cleburne.
He's going to hit a lot of homers in that yard.
Yeah. That wind tends to blow there too, doesn't it?
Not going to be fun to pitch on there,
Yeah. Aren't you glad you're not pitching?
Yeah, so it's not going to be fun to pitch to him there.
You're a social media guy. Do you have a favorite follow? Somebody you follow, you got to check in with every couple of days?
No, I don't do much on the social media. I kind of do it more for information, things like that. Right now, my number one follow is Governor Wolf. I've been checking on his every day, making sure I'm allowed to go outside. But no, other than that, I don't. I just every stats and info baseball things. It's pretty much all boring baseball stuff. But
yeah, it's Brad says I can remember. Brad says I remember a series, and I remember this series. This is a very good. I forgot about this. He goes, I remember a series, The Depot, where it felt like Dylan had about 10 hits, and I was pulling my hair out over those. Yeah, he was. It's funny because at that time, the broadcast booth in Cleveland, there was no separation. It was all one big room. And so you get another hit, and he'd look at me and was like, go, throw his hands up and be like, oh. And I'm over here, Tice, another hit, RBI. What? I mean, I'm going crazy in the one side of the room, and these guys are going, and they're like, Dylan, we can't get Tice out. You remember that series in 2018? You were gone a week later.
Yeah. That year was when I was hitting behind Todd Cunningham too.
That didn't hurt.
Yeah, and I had Perry behind me, I think, for most of that year. So yeah, I saw a lot of fastballs that year. My average showed for it. Those guys helped me tremendously, and people don't realize that.
Brad says much respect to you. Meredith says welcome back, Dylan. Do you have a favorite memory so far as a T-Bone? I mean, you're basically a year and almost 2 years, really. Do you have anything that stands out to you as far as is there maybe a memory, or it's just something that you enjoy about being a part of the T-Bones? Maybe it's more of a broad question. What do you like most about your time with the T-Bones?
Yeah, I kind of like that. It's finally, when you play minor league baseball or professional baseball, you don't ever really get to play in a community and get to know the community and things like that. I've lived with Millie Mange for now. This will be my 3rd year, I think. I should know that. It might be my 3rd year.
Yeah.
So I built a really good relationship with her. Outside of baseball, she comes and visits. And I just talked to her 2 days ago. But obviously, you and some of the other John West in the clubhouse, like. He came to just awesome. Yeah, we get to see all these people, and it's finally playing with the community. When I was in Rockland, I had that for a little bit. Sure. That was a really good community there. I love to play for. But sometimes when you play in affiliate ball, you're here for like 2 weeks. Like as soon as you get to know guys, But if I had to say my favorite memory would be the day I hit 2 homers in St. Paul for Joe's 1000th win when we were down. That was pretty special. Because as much as I love playing for him. Yeah, that was just really cool.
I actually just watched the video of the final out when I was on vacation. Actually, it was on my phone, of all things, and I pulled up on my phone, and somehow I'd saved that. I shot it from my phone, and it's funny you should bring that up. You and Joe are close. You're from the same neck of the woods. You're both Fly Eagles Fly guys. Which, as a Texan living in Dallas, we had to disagree on that, of course. But my wife, again, like I said, she loves Philly, and I'm a Cowboy. But you guys are Eagle fans. But you're also, there's a lot of respect there. You guys, he's not just a manager. He's a little something more than that, isn't he?
Absolutely. Me and him talk regular, but he's a really special guy. He's taught me so much, and just the toughness. And you talk about the Philly toughness and the Italian thing that we got going on. I'm not, he's Italian. I'm Italian too, but not quite. But like the one is the toughness he brings, kind of from that type of lifestyle, but also the heart. The heart to never quit and never give up. And we have team meetings and things like that. And I think players playing for him, when the first time we have a team meeting, like, this year we really struggled in the beginning. Man, sure. It was brutal, and it was not fun, I'll be honest with you. We were not having fun in that dugout. And we had a few meetings, and guys kind of looked around like a little shocked. Because most meetings in minor league baseball come in and you better do this, this, and this, or you're going to be gone. Where our meeting was like, we have a really special group of guys here and we're playing for ourselves, not each other. Can we play for each other? And he made it really emotional and things like that, and but it meant something to the guys, And in the beginning of the year, when you get to indie ball, it's a lot of different players, right? So a lot of guys you don't know.
Sure.
And so in the beginning, everyone's trying to get their 2 hits. You're not necessarily you are playing to win, obviously, but you're trying to learn and build as a team. The last day of every single year, there's not one guy in the locker room that doesn't want to come back and play for Joe. I mean, there's guys that get signed and they say, "Oh, I gotta go," but there's you don't get to play for Joe in affiliate ball. You just don't.
Well, you're one of them. You left and got a chance to come back. You didn't even hesitate.
Mm-hmm. No, absolutely not. Absolutely not. I called him before he could call me when I got released today. I hope you have a spot because I'm coming regardless.
That day in St. Paul, I remember that very vividly. Then 2018, we were walking out to, and I want you to walk us through that. You were walking out to hit that day at CHS Field, and suddenly you were kind of tapping the shoulder and sit back in the clubhouse. You got the news you were going to the Mets organization. That was a special day for you. You're looking back now on that. Was that maybe the highlight of 18 for you?
Yes and no. The actual moment was special. The way things happened, the way the Mets panned out, didn't work out.
Right.
And things like that. So I don't think of it as that. I have more special moments. My special moments are more times when like I'm sharing it with teammates and players. As much as it is for me. It's more fun when you can share those moments with other guys.
Right.
But yeah, that was special. We went out to hit. And he was mid BP. I don't know why he had his phone out there. He never takes his phone out there, but he had his phone. He started waving me in from left field, and here I'm thinking, what did I do?
Yep.
Like I've never gotten in trouble for doing anything dumb. I haven't done anything dumb. What is he calling me for? If I cross him, is he mad at me? I don't know.
Right.
I'm hitting. I think I'm still hitting. I had a few hits last night. What's the matter here? So he called me in, and he just said, go in the locker room. And he came in and talked to me and said, they want to sign you. It's yes or no. They got to know right now. Here's the number. You call them back with your answer. And he said, I support you either way. I love you, and I support you either way. And I decided to go, so I didn't get to play that game, but I never played at St. Paul before. That was going to be my first ever game at St. Paul.
The first game
out there was like 15,000 people there, and I was so fired up to play. And then I just put me in a lineup. Well, I'll go for the Mets tomorrow, but let me play today. He said, you can't play today. You got to wait. So
first game of that series, I remember, and two, one of the things as a broadcaster, because I get really wrapped up in you guys and want you guys to do. Like I always say, you can't get to know guys like you. And you mentioned Todd Cunningham and any of these players, Keith Curcio, you name all these guys that have come through that I've seen. You can't get to know these guys, not become attached, not become part of what they're doing. And I was just like, oh, we lost Dylan. I'm just like gonna go up the booth. But the way the process works, that's part of what the whole philosophy. I want to get it from a player's perspective, because I know Joe's program is a little different. The idea is to get you guys back to your baseball dreams of trying to chase that big league dream. And as a player, I know you know Joe, but if you didn't know Joe, would that philosophy be something that would fire you up and something you share with other players?
As far as what, trying to get back?
You're trying to get back. You know that coming to Kansas City, you've got a really good chance to get seen.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's part of why Joe's good, is because he does care about those things where most coaches don't. Like, most guys get paid to win and they're here. And I've heard of stories where, coaches will tell him, well, he's not the guy you want, because they want to keep him and things like that. And it's sad and sick, makes you sick to your stomach. But like, I've been really lucky to play for him, and I know how lucky I've been, because I've had managers I really, really disliked. And he's the greatest manager I've ever had, and that's part of it. Is like, he does everything for the player. He wants to make the player happy. And that's why guys want to play for him. And even if they are only there for 2-3 weeks, they have a really good experience. They move on. Yeah,
I remember that first season at 17, the year before you got there. I knew it was going to be a little different, because I came from Gary, where it was really, really, really. There goes my dog, Max. We're live with the house. The dog's chipping in. But I knew it was going to be different. But until I really saw it, and I saw it firsthand, that I realized how it worked. And one more thing too. I'm like, two more things before I let you go. And you mentioned the teammates, the whole atmosphere. Is it just me? But are those guys in that clubhouse, and that means 18, 19, and I'm sure this year, those relationships are special, because the kind of players that Joe brings in are good people. I mean, they're just good people. That's the impression I get from the outside, and I see you guys every day. Am I right on there? Are they just good folks?
Yeah, absolutely. And that's part of, like, a lot of that has to be with, a lot of it's lucky getting in good locker rooms, but obviously you don't get that without doing your due diligence. And Joe does that. He brings in good guys. And the guys that, obviously there's so much turnover throughout the year.
Yep.
There's so much, where there's always going to be guys that come in and, maybe aren't the best fit. He sees it, though. Like, they're not there long, whether for whatever reason, they get hurt or released, just something always happens. But I've been there for 3 years now, and every year the clubhouse has been better and better and better. It's just great. Obviously the championship year was pretty unbelievable first year, but even the last 2 years, like, the clubhouse is special. And that shows from the leader. If you don't have a good leader, what can you do from there? So he does his part when we try and do ours.
Final thing. All right, let's get on. Your marriage is coming up, and let's say you get married, and you're fast forward a few years down the road. Are you? I'm just kind of guessing. Are you a coach one day? Are you still in baseball in 15, 20 years when you hang them up? You seem like a guy that could be that maybe has that career path down the road at one day.
Yeah. So I coach now. We have an academy called Tri-State Elite. I have a good friend, and him and his family own it, and then I'm kind of like the hitting guy there. So I coach. I have an 11 and 12-year-old team. Our first tournament was supposed to be the first week in April. Obviously not going to happen, but we were excited. Right. And now that my dad's retired, he's my assistant coach.
That's good.
Yeah, so we are excited, and so I work there full time. Like once baseball's done and my career's over, I'll work there full time.
That's
we
awesome.
have enough business, and we're busy and things like that. So in the winter, that's what I've been doing. And now with the quarantine, we've been off for 2 weeks. But up until this quarantine, we were working. I mean, we had just a bunch of kids that wanted to play ball, and we were getting better, and we had a really good off season. So yeah, I will, and I'm age 12 and below.
Gotcha.
I like to train the swing. I love teaching the swing, and I love hitting mechanics and things like that. So I do that with all ages. I like to do that with some of the older kids. But as far as coaching a team, standing at third base and being the manager of a team, I like the 9, 10, 11, and 12-year-olds. They're the most fun. They're the most you can teach to, They're all nice kids. They don't have attitudes. They're there to win, and it's truly the way baseball should be. Where if you get some of these 15, 16-year-olds, sometimes it's a showcase, and I want to play shortstop, and you don't have to deal with that. And so I like the younger age groups and like to teach the young kids the way to play the game.
Dylan, we appreciate your time. I know I kept you a little longer than I wanted to. But I appreciate you. Now Morgan, I talked. I gave you told you the email, but I'm asking all the fans this too. But I'd love to get like an insight of what you're doing. Maybe film this video of you guys playing bingo. I'd love to have a little clip of that or something. Or what is Dylan doing to pass the time while he's in self-isolation? Maybe do you cook or something like that, right?
Yeah, we cook. Yeah, we cook. We do a lot of working out. My sister's on the Fit Fam now. We're working out a lot. But, we're trying to play bingo again Sunday night on FaceTime. If anybody has any recommendations of other games we can play through FaceTime, let us know. We wanted to play something a little different. We wanted to do a different game every week, but
I love it.
We can't come up with much, so we're going to stick to bingo thing.
I'll be reaching out to you for some video at some point here in the next few days. But I appreciate your time. Class act all the way. Look forward to seeing you when we get going again. And blessings to you and your family and your lovely fiance. And you guys stay safe up there. And we'll just agree to disagree on the colors of our NFL teams, okay?
Yeah, thanks again, Dan. I appreciate it. Everybody
appreciate you. Dylan Tice, appreciate it, my friend. He is awesome. Love having him on. And appreciate Dylan joining us there. A couple Jim Carter says, good young man. Danielle says, hope to see another fun season this year. Yep, for sure. Millie's saying, look forward to seeing you. And Bobby Curcio talking about Joe as well. Meredith says Pictionary. Okay, now here's the fun part I want to bring up. I'm going to pull my graphic up here. Where is my graphic? Hold on. Dan Vaughn's graphic right here. We go. We're going to do this right now. We're going to go real quickly. It's the Vaughan Household Live Cam. Vaughan Household Live Cam in 3, 2, 1. Wait, that's my wife. What are you doing, wife? Your microphone's off, wife. Wait, your microphone's off, wife. Yeah, click the button. There we go. You're on now. You're on. Well, I thought you were on. There you go.
Online discussions about The Great Gatsby for my AP language boys, and I am monitoring a graduate online discussion with my SMU class. So I'm working.
So this is live. You're in the same house, but I don't really see you during this whole time, except maybe around dinner time, right?
I know. Do you remember last night? Right before we went to bed, I was like, gosh, I feel like it's the first I've seen you today. I was downstairs working, you were upstairs working, and Caroline was just sort of milling about in between the two of us.
Yeah, and she's still napping right now. So
must be nice.
Yeah, that's the Vaughan Household Live Cam. My wife is doing her online schooling with her boys at St. Mark's and her SMU. How was SMU class last night, wife?
A 3-hour Zoom class was a little bit much.
So you're saying that's not the way to go to class. You rather go to campus and carry your backpack and your books and all that?
Yeah.
And park next to the Trident House and all that?
Yes.
Oh, good. Okay, well, so that's live, right? That's the wife live in her. That's actually kind of her. It's your office anyway. You're at home, isn't it? Or
yeah, the library.
Okay, the library. That's libraries. All right. Well, what's for dinner tonight? Do I know what's my job for dinner tonight?
I want to know what are you making?
What do we got?
Your grilled out burgers last night were the bomb.
Yeah, they were good. A little secret work there was good.
It's very good. I don't know. So we'll have to figure it out. We got lots of stuff
All right. Okay. As an educator, though, I will ask you a serious question. As an educator, how hard is it to do what you're doing now? Is it? It's got to be difficult as an educator. Is it not the same thing you're usually doing?
Yeah, I miss the interaction with the boys for sure. I also like the energy that classroom discussions bring and the collaboration of ideas. I think that's very important. Yeah, it's a challenge. It's also just a technological challenge because, I'm not, there's just so many of these platforms that I wasn't used to, and now I'm having to get used to on the fly. But we'll make it work. I mean, it's not ideal, but we're all in the same boat. And I think one of the things that we keep trying to tell all the kids out there is just relax. If you don't get everything in this year, you're still going to turn out to be decent human beings. Think about the kids who survived Hurricane Katrina, that were out of school for all those months, and now they're all doctors and lawyers. They'll survive.
So you just tell me to relax. So that's
well, you need to relax anyway.
Well, okay, that's the Vaughan Live House cam right there. My lovely wife, Gaymarie, downstairs. By the way, Brad says GM is educating our youth. Much more important than you and I. Yes, much more important, Brad.
No, that's not true. Yes. We all play our part.
Yes. We'll get caught up to the question, but thank you, my dear. Love you, and we'll see you at dinner. I'm not sure what I'm making, but I'll find out. Okay, so there we go. That's yeah, there. Clean up my closet. That's the Vaughan Live House cam. Okay, a couple things to catch up on here quickly here as I pull the camera graphic off there. Let's do that. And I think I just saw the kiddo come down the hallway. Jim, no. Jim was asking what happened to Lago. He is playing for Cleburne now. Danielle says, "Great Gatsby, it's so good." I would agree with that. Meredith says, "Pictionary." So I got kind of questions, comments. By the way, I want to hear from you guys here in this last part, because I'm going to go to one more spot in a moment. What are you guys doing? What is it you're doing right? What's like for me? I mentioned a moment ago, it's the project of cleaning out the closet, making more room for the wife because my stuff takes too much room up. I get it. I tend to like to add to my wardrobe. I do apologize, but maybe you've got a project you're doing. Maybe you're deciding, I want to take a stab at. For me, a couple years ago, I wanted to learn how to make barbecue ribs, and so one summer I did that. Well, maybe you got a project like that, something like that. Maybe there's something you want to do. So I'd love to hear what you guys are doing. We got another live cam, and this one, this one should be fun because you've probably already seen this camera already. But da-da-da-da-da! Hello.
Hi.
What are you doing, Morgan?
Oh, just working from home, like every other American citizen.
You're lucky that I didn't let the camera up about 5 minutes ago. By the way, it looks like you guys are having a discussion of sorts. So you guys are the self-isolation carrying over. You guys have to talk a lot. Everybody has to talk in the house, right?
Yeah, pretty much.
Did you have this? What does it happen like for you guys? Because I was mentioning, my wife just said, I didn't really see her. I mean, we were in the same house, but I didn't really talk to her until about bedtime. I mean, because she's doing her thing, I'm doing my thing, Caroline's doing her thing, and all of a sudden we ate together, and that's pretty much it. Because you do hunker down and do your work, right?
Yeah, I wake up, I have my coffee and my oatmeal, and I just work. It's all I've been doing is working, and I mean, I go to bed and wake up and do the same thing. It's nice though. Like I change out of my nighttime pajamas and I get in like my daytime pajamas.
Right. Hey, there's one for every time of the day, right? I get it. I get it. Brad says, Morgan, let's see here. Now it's time for the A-list star of the show. Yes, Brad, I agree.
Hi, Brad.
Cheryl says we need more of your funny videos. Meredith says it never warms up. If it ever warms up, she says, I'm going to start cleaning my gardens.
Meredith, you can come do mine.
You're hired. Time. You're hired. I told the story. I'll tell it a third time. I was walking the dog this morning, and you kind of knew the dog was distracted, like behind him. I looked about a half block away, and there was somebody following me. I looked up. It was my wife, and one of the goals we had was to walk the dog together. And we walked the dog together for the first time, I think, ever today. So we actually had a bonding time despite it all. Any fun bonding for you in this whole thing?
Not really. I think my dog really likes me being home more because she can actually nap on like blankets and stuff that are usually not out. But not other than that, no.
All right. Well, I just want to give live cam updates with what everybody's, because I thought with a live cam in the house, how about Morgan's live cam? Let's see what she's doing. We're all trying to fight through this thing together, but we are busy working. We're working on some fun stuff. You heard me talking to Dylan, and the bingo thing sounds like fun, doesn't it?
Oh my gosh, yeah. He's playing bingo. I think it looks fun. And he asked for ideas for, if he can play it on Pictionary. Speak Out is a big game in my family that you can play on Pictionary. It's the thing, or on FaceTime, you put the thing in your mouth and you have to say like a sentence.
Right.
That's actually a really fun one that you can play via FaceTime. And then we have one that's like the Box of Lies. It's Jimmy Fallon's Box of Lies, and you look at the card, and it's some completely insane. It's like a praying mantis with a construction hat on and golf shoes, and you have to try and basically lie about what the card says and see if someone can guess what you're saying. So yeah, that's kind of all that. Those are my suggestions for him.
Brian asked any timeline on the team store for the website. I would imagine, Brian, and I'll give the answer, then I'll let Morgan follow. We're anything commerce wise, we're kind of in a hold right now.
Mm-hmm.
I think because of the fact that we're all kind of have bigger needs as far as, we're not trying to ram tickets down people's throats or whatever. Because I don't think that's the time for it. I think the league believes that. I know Mark Brandmeier and ownership believes that right now, and the staff that we're not really trying to push that. But I do know that at some point we will have that going, Morgan, and I guess you could take it from there.
Yeah, I'll just kind of piggyback off of what you said, Dan, but we are with our new website, which hopefully people have visited it and seen it and everything. We will be having, a virtual type of team store. Obviously, I know that we might have been saying that, but it will happen. But due to, the circumstances and given, everyone's kind of working from home, businesses aren't really in office. So it's kind of hard for us to even order anything at this point.
Yep.
That's why, we've been getting a lot of questions about giveaways, and, we will announce those when we can.
Sure.
It's just right now, just like you said, we can't really announce much because no one's around.
Right.
We're all just at home hanging out and doing our best to work from home, but we will have a team store. We're hoping it will be up in the summertime when we are able to order, merchandise and things like that. It'll be great merchandise. Casey's doing a great job getting some stuff together. We're really putting our hats on and thinking about what all we can offer the fans, but it will happen, and we will make sure that everybody knows as soon as it does.
Amen. Good stuff. Yeah, it's that's why I wanted, when we're going to keep the steakhouse open, we're going to keep talking about things between the lines, because eventually we, as you heard Dylan and heard Joe, we when this thing returns to some normalcy, we expect to have baseball played at some point. I don't know when, and at this moment, as I told you, the official line from the ball club, and I probably should have pulled those points up, put them on the screen for you, but I could kind of give the overview from a league standpoint and from a T-Bone standpoint. We plan on playing baseball at some point. We don't know when. Right now, as we stand right now today, it's all go for May, but obviously that's a fluid situation. You guys all know that Major League Baseball is not starting right now, so if they're not playing, it would lead to believe if we're following their directive, we won't play, in a parallel time. So, it's all fluid. And as it changes, and these talking points will change, we will update you via Facebook and by Twitter. But right now, we're going about it sometime. We're going to do a little fun out there, and we're doing what we can do to get it done, but we're not going to worry about the commerce side nearly as much as with just more the good old feeling of, boy, when it returns, the smiles will return too, yep. Morgan, right? All right, the smiles will be there.
That's right.
I'll pull the curtain. I talked to Morgan for about 40 minutes today, and I can tell you that there will be plenty of smiles returning. Okay, I can tell you that right now.
Yeah, I've definitely got some tricks up my sleeve, some surprises up my sleeve. We, it's all a work in progress. I mean, just because we're working from home doesn't mean that we're not actually, physically working. I don't think I think I'm working more at home because I have to keep myself busy than, at the office, but we are still business as usual, and we're doing our best to stay positive. And the more and longer you stay inside, the quicker we will be able to go outside. So
Yes.
we are
Yes.
encouraging you to just stay inside unless you absolutely have to, go to the store or something, but you just have to go by the rule,
Go by the rule. Yeah. My wife says, yeah, stay inside. And of course, what can you do? I went through this a little bit in Australia back when it first broke out. It's been crazy. It's just the weird thing is, Morgan, this is what I was thinking about this early talking to Joe. The last show I did was on March 10th, which is 2 weeks ago today, and since that time it's totally changed. Now for me, I do spend most of my off season in this chair, so I'm in the same place. But for a lot of you, and I'm used to it. I'm used to spending the off season here in the one office and the in season another. But for you guys that aren't used to that, it's got to be a bit of adjustment. It has to be. I mean, I'm sure it's an adjustment all of a sudden to walk 5 feet to the office.
Yeah, it's definitely been an adjustment. A lot of what took place, in early spring, like February and early March, was in-person meetings and getting people excited and letting them know, these are the renderings of the stadium and
Yep.
all of that. And now we can't do that. Everything's via Zoom, and then sometimes the Zoom drops, and then you have to worry about the technological things, and then me and you, we kind of get, but your mic needs to be on, and
Yeah.
some people that you're like trying to instruct how to do it, and so it's definitely, kind of a learning curve, and we're all kind of just adapting to how society is for the moment. And I mean, that's just how it is. It sucks, but
yeah, it sucks.
What can you do?
What really makes me angry is one of my goals is, there's certain TV shows I've not watched over the years. One of them was Breaking Bad, and everybody loved Breaking Bad, and I never watched. So finally, on my trip to Belize, I downloaded some episodes and watched, and now I'm rolling through them. But my biggest hazard of the day, besides cold coffee, is if Netflix gets overloaded and I can't get through the episode without it knocking me off. So dang it, Netflix, get your act together. Because that's my hazard. My biggest hazard of the day is if Netflix isn't smooth. I mean, that's my big problem. That's my 2020 problem.
I mean, crazy. if that's your biggest problem, I think we'll be okay.
Hey, it's a great life. You know what? I'm a little older, but can you imagine though, 1985 and not having these tools to be able to chat and keep the fans engaged? I mean, there's some evils of social media. I'm not going to lie to you. You know that. We both know social media has, like anything in life, has some evils, but it's really pretty positive to have these opportunities to do. I mean, that's a plus to keep fans and keep everybody. We're all in isolation to keep us all together.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm a cheerleading coach, and I wasn't able to physically say goodbye to my cheerleaders in a proper way. So we had a Zoom meeting the other night, and I had, 20 girls. We looked like the Brady Bunch. I mean, they were all talking at once, and I'm like, we all have to just be quiet and raise our hand if we want to talk, or, but I mean, it's just how it is, and it's just an adjustment, and it just makes you more excited and realize that you don't want to take anything for granted, physically seeing people and being able to go to games and go into a sports bar that's really smelly and hot, and you're just like, oh, I miss that. It just makes you realize, we sometimes will take those things for granted. And I know that after this all gets over with, hopefully we don't take it for granted anymore. So.
Amen. Well, thanks for us having a live cam to check on you, and we'll check on you next week. And then we're doing some other. Morgan and I got some things working. We're looking forward to it. And so we went live. Then you guys behave yourselves there in the household. Okay.
Got it.
Stop, Max. Quit. The dog's barking. But
thank you for sleeping.
Well, he came in here a while ago, and Dylan was on, and he barked a little bit. Now his bit is now, because we're home, he's protecting us as well. So he's He's crazy. But thank you very much, Morgan. Awesome. We'll see you.
Bye, guys.
Bye. There she is. Greatness right there. Morgan Kolenda. She is phenomenal. And again, as I mentioned, she is working on smiles right now. Again, talking to this morning, plenty of smiles, plenty of smiles. Okay, a couple of catch-ups here before I go through a couple of items to wrap up here. Let's rewind the clock here. It looks like, let's see here. Oh, hold on. Gonna put the, there we go. There we go. I've gotten 2 texts while listening to you from my nonprofit. We're in need of masks for our drivers who take wheelchair clients necessary medical appointments. Good to have my mom, actually, my mother in Indiana is working for the Council of Aging, which is a group there in Elkhart, St. Joseph County, I believe. Is that right, Mom? And she's working to help the folks up there. But yeah, that's got to be tough, especially. And I know my sister, I talked to her on Sunday night. She's a nurse in Denver. My brother-in-law, my sister-in-law is a doctor here in Dallas, and she's an anesthesiologist, but they've got, they work so much with breathing that she is also on a pretty busy call as well at Medical City here in Dallas as well. And for all you folks in healthcare and out on the front lines, we appreciate your what you're doing. We appreciate it. Our thoughts and prayers with you as you are out to the front lines. Us folks in baseball broadcasting are kind of rendered just sitting around doing nothing when you guys are out there. And my sister was really, she'd been on 3 straight days. She was having a couple of days off. She was relieved, but she was really inspirational. Hearing my sister talk, Michelle, talk about just wanted to help people there in Denver was inspirational to me. So we can all do our thing to help, whether it be just thoughts and prayers, good vibes, thanking folks online, whatever it is we do, or donating what we can. Let's see what else we got here. Jim says, I can't wait for baseball to see everybody. Me too. Staying inside is right, go back outside in June. Kenny, good to see you, mate, as well. I was talking about you yesterday, or actually Monday on another show. GM says the kids wouldn't know Morgan's Brady Bunch reference. That's probably true. But all right, let me know, guys. I'm going to go back and rewind the hot stove here. What are you doing? What is your project you're doing? And here's the thing. I'll even give you this opportunity as a T-Bone fan. If you are doing something you think might be worthwhile to share, email me a video at Dan Vaughan. Actually, not Dan Vaughan, D Vaughan. I'll give you the email address here in just a moment. Email me and let me know, and let Morgan and I know. We will let you guys. Let me give you that email address real quickly here. Just shoot me the email right there, and shoot me an email, and then the actual M is there, but it will. It's .com, right? Devon, DVAUGHAN at tbonesbaseball.com. Send me an email link, maybe a video link, or just the video itself. A short 30-second clip. What are you doing? What are T-Bones fans doing while we wait this thing out? What are you doing? Maybe you're in your garden, as Meredith is, or maybe you're baking a cake, or you're watching old videos of the T-Bones, or you're organizing your whatever it is you're doing. In my case, it'll be a video of me cleaning my closet, which will not be very exciting. But Dylan Tice is playing bingo. There may be something that the Calfapietra family is doing. They want to submit. I encourage you guys to let me know, how are you spending your time? We'll get that up on our channels, and I'll get those on next week's show here and there. If you guys will shoot me those videos, 30 seconds probably enough. A minute's probably okay. I mean, I can live with that. 30 seconds to a minute. I'd love to get those on the show. Other couple of items too for future shows. What we're also going to do too is this show will continue on Wednesday. The Steakhouse will be right here. What we're also going to do is I'm going to add another show, and it's in the works. It looks to be sort of a flashback type of show. You know me. I love the old history of our league, of our teams, of our club, of our brand, and it'll be some kind of look back, and it may be more 2019 centric. It may be a whole over the course of the history, but something along those lines. We'll be doing that as well on here. And then I've got a couple of things working on that we're going to debut in the season. We may bring them a little earlier. So, but that's one thing to look forward to going forward. Let's see here. Nate says, keeping the voice lumber and trying to keep the 2 little boys from murdering each. Hey, you know what, Nate? I get it. I mentioned earlier that we've not killed each other here in our household, and that is a very, very lofty goal that we all need to try to follow, because it's can be a little dicey, isn't it? A little dicey when it comes to everybody in close quarters and little kiddos. But yes, we're all happy that no one's injured in Nate's house. But Nate, of course, the in ballpark PA voice of the T-Bones, and always good to see him as well. Okay, hot stove update. Let's rewind the clock. Joe and I went through this a bit at the top of the show, but let me give you what happened since we met on March 10th. Now, my wife and I were gone for a week, which we needed that, and now back to reality. All good, though. I'm glad to get ready to go. A couple of items. First off, Casey Gillespie back. Uh, we never really saw the Gillespie-Sweeney show together, except for a small sample size early on last year. Remember, Darnell was signed by the Pirates. His contract purchased early going. Gillespie wound up with their team leader in RBIs, home runs, top 4 in the league in home runs this last year. Bring that big power bat. You heard Dylan Tice was talking about batting behind certain players. With this lineup, the way it looks right now on paper, it's pretty exciting. You've got some speed there as well, some guys that get on base. You've got some pop in the middle, some versatile players as well, a lot more switch hitters. But Gillespie, one of those guys, got pop from that left side. And don't forget what a good defensive player he was and what he is. In college at Wichita State, one of the big things was he was a Gold Glove quality infielder at first base for the Wheat Shockers, and people really rate about his defense. And you watch him play first and play the outfield, and he's a tall guy, 6'4". He doesn't look like a real speed go-getter, but he has some good speed. He closes well on the ball. Excuse me, closes the ball in the outfield. He's got a very good glove at first base. He's a solid defender, and that's a very big thing. And as Joe said, heard talk about his competitiveness. He's an even keel guy. You never saw him really, too high, too low, real even keel, and just that kind of perfect guy in that clubhouse. But Gillespie back. The T-Bones, the number 2 move made last week during the week was the trade the T-Bones made with Sugarland. A lot of moves with Sugarland this year. There's a relationship. We probably should ask Joe about that a little bit. But Henry Owens, the lefty, former Red Sox, second-round pick, traded to Sugarland for Chuck Taylor. Now, Taylor is an outfielder, a very intriguing guy. I'm going to pull his numbers up as I was working on his bio here. Let me see if I can find that for you guys real quick. Give me just a moment here. Up a moment ago. Taylor, and as I wrote his bio yesterday, and I haven't finished working on it, but here's a guy that he never really played independently. Sugarland had his rights, and we're going to bring him in, but he was traded, young man from Mansfield, Texas, which is just right outside of just south of Dallas and Fort Worth. A very good sports hotbed, Mansfield, Texas, and he was a Double-A last year, 80 ball games for Harrisburg with the Nationals organization. Last year hit 232 there, 34 driven in, 8 long balls, 4 at Triple-A Fresno. He played 40 games there in Fresno. Fresno, by the way, is the team that former T-Bones employee Jamie Durking works for. Jamie worked for us 2 years ago in the championship season in media. Jamie now works for Fresno, K-State grad and former Wildcat student and graduate there, and he now works for those Fresno Grizzlies. But that's where Taylor was. Last year combined, 120 ball games at AAA and AA combined, 44 walks, 44 RBIs, 12 home runs total. Plays the outfield, as I mentioned. Career numbers in the minor leagues, 793 minor league games. He's got 36 long balls and 316 runs batted in. A batting average career at 269. A guy that more of a corner piece in the outfield. And what this does create some depth. Will allow you to play Gillespie more in his natural spot at first base. It gives Joe some versatility as well. And what you love to see is a guy that's a switch hitter. Joe just seems to find those switch hitters, and what that means for the ball club. Why switch hitters are so important, meaning a lefty-righty batter, is because what it does for you in this roster, when you don't have a minor league system to feed you players, you need versatility. You need a guy to be able to play 4 or 5 positions. You don't have the depth that you have in affiliated ball. A guy can play 3 or 4 positions, 2 positions. He can switch hit. That's such a plus. That saves your bench. You can carry an extra pitcher, maybe an extra pitcher or 2. When Joe talked about the rookie classifications as well, those things all factor into it. So you factor those things into it. It's very important. You get a switch hitter and a guy that can play multiple positions. That's huge. And very good for Kansas City to get Chuck Taylor, switch hitter, 5'9", 190. Let's see here. I got here. Kenny says, great seeing you, mate. We love listening to T-Bones live. 2 straight days of yard work. Can't believe how many we. Yeah, the Metroplex in Dallas-Fort Worth. We were gone for a week. My wife and I were, and it rained every day. It rained every day we were gone. We came back and the yard was a mess. The back patio was a mess. She had to sweep it out yesterday, and a lot of rain down here, so everything's turning green and needs some sunshine to get can dry things up. But yeah, it's been a lot of rain. Good to see you, Kenny. And Kenny, he knows a little bit about Mansfield as well because he covers high school football and high school sports here in the Metroplex. But Chuck Taylor, the T-Bones picked up for Henry Owens. The final move, Evan Corson, which is a big move for Kansas City, as Joe mentioned. Anytime you bring in a rookie and you get one of your rookies back and a guy contributes, and as Joe mentioned, his role will change a little bit. Or it changed a little bit last year. He was put in more situations that they maybe liked to have had him in a different situation, but because of injuries, Joe would like to put him in a certain role this year. And you heard Joe talk about that. Wendy joining us from Wendy, you back from Bali? Wendy, our good friend, my good friend Wendy D'Souza, one of the best photographers ever, is lives in Perth and Western Australia. And I just knew recently she was in Bali, but I don't know if she's back yet. But Wendy, yes, good to see you. Hope you're doing well. Let's see here. Mike, yes, limits opponents' ability to match up. Yeah, the lefty. Let's take it one step further. Mike's right on. Maybe I should have gone a little deeper. Mike's right on. Lefty, righty, righty is very important as well. There's several ways to look at it. As a manager, lefty, righty combos are huge, and switch hitters really negate that. That's also part of the mixture. So you throw that in there. The fact that a guy can bat both sides helps your lineup card as well. It helps your bench. And then the versatility of playing multiple positions, that's also a plus as well. But Mike, very good point. Yes, Wendy's in isolation in Perth, day 5 of 14. She was in lovely Bali, and back. We're going to see Wendy there. Mike, also earlier I saw you were talking, I mentioned this earlier. I should have mentioned this earlier, but Mike, let me go back here, guys. So I missed your comment earlier, Mike, and I'm sorry. Mike was talking about Dylan, and I don't know where I dropped that along the way. Let's just see here. Anyway, I missed it, Mike, but you had something earlier, and looks like I'm just. Oh yeah, Mike was talking too, and the LA he was talking about LA Lago. That Dylan Tice talked about LA Lago, how impressed he was with them at the All-Star break, and I know Mike's still wishing LA Lago. And a lot of fans wish he was still part of the T-Bones, but as Joe did say, you got to give up something to get something, and Lago's gone on to some very good things for Sioux Falls, will for Cleburne, and Kansas City will also continue to thrive as well. But a very good point, though, on all accounts, Mike Martin. All right, questions, comments, last calls for you guys. We've been going quite a bit here, and we'd love to hear from you guys what you guys are doing, what's going on. Maybe you have some ideas and questions, comments. We'd love to hear from you. The show is The Steakhouse. My name is Dan Vaughan, voice of the Kansas City T-Bones, and glad you guys are along. Lunch hour now, moving into the second lunch hour, when we're glad you're here. So far, we've talked to Joe Calfapietra, talked to Dylan Tice, talked to Morgan Kolenda. We've gone downstairs live to my wife in the live Vaughan family live cam and an educator's point of view. We've heard from Brett Allred. Coming shows, Brett will join us a couple weeks. I got Connor Ryan from Sioux City joining us down the road. We're going to have all of our division bunkmates join us, can update what's going on. We'll go to Sioux Falls as well. And Grand Prairie, keep you updated on there. I didn't really jump in then. I guess I could do that real quickly here, the tail end, and let's give you an update on the transactions that I've missed from the other teams in the association. So let me pull that screen up for you here. Let's just kind of go back and reverse. Mentioned Corson was the signing for Kansas City. Evan A lefty, overall great numbers last year, and he'll be counted on in a very big way here from Joe. Welcome Evan Corson back. Glad to have him back. Let's see here. The Winnipeg Goldeyes signed Jose, the lefty. Remember Jose? A couple of years ago, he was actually a spring training invitee for Kansas City, and infielder Eric Wood. Cleveland signed in Mason Melodicus. Is that how I said that? Melodicus, I believe. They signed a lefty. Jose Velez was playing on his option in 2020 for Sioux City. Sioux Falls signed Sam Braga, right-hander. A couple of other notable signings here. Stuart Imes inked with Fargo. Of course, was traded to Fargo, but good to see Stuart landing there and getting that taken care of. And just kind of going backwards here last week, David Almeida Barrera from Chicago was sold to Puebla in the Mexican League. Gary South Shore made a very big trade for them anyway. Their corner piece at third also played some first. Randy Santi Esteban traded to Florence of the Frontier League. And then looking down here, a couple other items here. I did see where Sioux City, right before I left, released Jeremy Hazelbaker. Hazelbaker was last seen in Melbourne playing for the Melbourne Aces in the Australian Baseball League. He was released, and also Taylor Jordan released as well. Usually that means players are going somewhere else, perhaps retiring, or could work out a deal. And that those three items usually come to play there. But those are all since we really highlights of since we last met. We'll do this again next Wednesday. Okay. Every Wednesday, every week, we do the Steakhouse. We open the door up, sit down, relax, talk T-Bones baseball, get an update what's going on the hot stove. Wendy says, can we play virtual reality baseball? Yeah, why not, right? You know, I'm tempted. This is a real bad temptation. I'm tempted to go on eBay and try to find like an old Xbox or something and get back into playing video games. My wife would kill me. I'm tempted to do that. I don't know if that's something that'll fly in the house, but you know, it's always one of those things that I'm thinking about doing. Put it that way, okay? Thinking about doing it. Don't know if I will, but just an idea, okay? You guys, last call. What are you guys doing? Let me know. Want to hear what you guys are doing. What are you doing at home? What are you passing the time? How? Maybe it's maybe you developed a great. If you have a great new recipe, I'd love to hear from it too, especially a healthy one. All right, you know, in our house, we discovered right before our trip how we can make healthy pizza. Yeah, we made it. It was good, really good stuff. Great time killing the road, buddy. Yeah, there was no doubt about it. Get your Stratomatic on, says Nate. Keep ourselves entertained. We go yes. Yeah, Wendy's in Australia, and they may be. We may all be. Who knows? You know, it's crazy times. The most important thing to me, and I'll kind of give you my 2 cents worth, is just to be kind to each other and try to smile through it all. It's not ideal. You know, a lot of folks are affected health-wise, work-wise, emotion-wise. It's a trying time. But let's all keep smiling, try to be as best we can. We're going to come out of it fine. It may take some time. Maybe it won't be overnight. When we do, we'll be smiling at the T-Bones games and smiling wherever we live and smiling about our business. And again, my thoughts and prayers for all you guys, for all y'all, wherever you are, worldwide, as you we're all in the same boat. My wife and I came back on Saturday night. We were shocked to a degree about how things were. We flew into Dallas. You ever fly in this place on a Saturday night? As a matter of fact, pull the curtain back some more. 2 weeks prior, we'd gone to a wedding on Saturday night. Dear friend of ours, son got married, and we'd gone to the Blake wedding, and we went to the church about 4:00. We came out. The freeway was packed. We had 2 freeways to get to the reception. The reception was in Deep Ellum, a really happening area in Dallas. Streets were packed. It was Saturday night. Valet was a long line. It was a zoo. Crazy. We were going home. The wife and I were like, glad we're getting home now. This place is crazy, right? Old folks at 11 o'clock, right? But fly in 2 weeks later, nothing. It was hardly a car. It looked like 3 o'clock in the morning, 4 o'clock in the morning, the freeway. It was crazy. We were walking over the terminal to the customs, and looking down the terminal was like no one there. It was crazy. It was just really bizarre. And DFW is one of the top 10 busiest airports in the world. It was a ghost town. It was crazy, and it's been like that. And to walk the dog this morning and not hear planes flying over, and of course, everybody wherever you live, you get the same thing. There's something about your neighborhood. I heard birds again. I didn't hear the mass transit tracks, the freeway. I heard birds chirping. We say things we haven't heard in a while. So it's different for all of us, and good and bad and all that. But it's been crazy. And when we came back, we just didn't know what to expect, and it's bizarre. But again, we all have our personal stories. We're all doing what we can to smile through it and get through it. And that's one of the things as T-Bone's family, we're going to smile through it, get through it, and we're going to get to that next step at some point. So, didn't get to see a mate. I was just talking about you and Brad earlier. By the way, I've got to plan it, got to rig it up though, but because I can't just have Brad or Denning on individually. I guess I could do back-to-back week shows, but they almost merit to be together, right? You can't have Brad on without his partner, and you got to be together. I'm so used to seeing those two together. I got to have them together, but maybe I'll reach out to you guys. We'll do what you guys want to do, right? I tell the voice isn't quite there for regular season play, but all good. All right, last call here. Anybody questions, comments? Want to know what you guys are doing? Again, if you've got a video you want me to share on social media, 30-second clip, minute clip, what are you doing to pass the time? Maybe it's something fun. I'd love to hear from you. Shoot it to me. We'll get it on the show. Get on the show next week. Let me give you that email address again. There it is. And the screen kind of cuts off the M there on this Be Live, but there it is for you. So I'd love to hear from you. Also, reminders too, all your updates. If there's anything hot stove wise, anything T-Bone centric, you're going to find it on our social channels first and foremost. Twitter, Facebook, website, those three places, but especially I want to emphasize Facebook and Twitter because those are, boom, up there in both cases, especially Twitter, boom, right up there right away. Of course, your place to find that would be right here. T-Bones Baseball is your Twitter handle, T-Bones. But of course, Facebook, type in Facebook, Kansas City T-Bones, that page comes up. But at T-Bones Baseball, that's our Twitter handle. Please subscribe. Please follow us. And let me follow me as well. And I will usually give you the same information at Dan Vaughan Jr. Love to hear from you guys. So please chime in on those social channels. Love to hear from you. All right. Great stuff today. Great show. Big thank you to Joe Calfapietra for joining us at the top of the show. Big thanks to Joe. And it's funny because I actually reached out to him last night. I said, hey, you want me to tape the interview? We'll tape the interview with you and we'll do our thing as we always do. And Joe was like, let's do it live. So I was all excited about that live. Dylan as well. Dylan Tice. Thanks, Dylan, for joining us. Gaymarie Vaughan for her busy classroom downstairs, our live cam. Also from Morgan Kolenda from her live cam as well. All you fans, because I say it all the time, without you guys, we'd be lost. You're the best for a reason. I believe that firmly. You're the best fans for a reason. Also, our allies in the league, guys like Brad and Denning, appreciate you guys joining us. Big thanks to Nate, Wendy in Australia. Let's see, Mike Martin. Mike, I actually was going to wear I wore it on break, my Cancer Sucks t-shirt. And Mike Martin, we're going to get Mike on. Mike, you're going to be on the show soon, too, because I want to get caught up with you. You have a lot of things going on, and I want to just give you a chance to just catch us up to do that. Kenny as well, my friend. Good to see you. Who else out there? Jim, Brian, Maha, Meredith. Let's see here. Who am I missing? Cheryl, thank you. Appreciate your help and support, Cheryl. Danielle and Millie. Bobby. By the way, Bobby Curcio, best to you, Bobby. That Bobby also talking about how his son Keith, of course, Keith, you guys knew this, Keith was playing in big league spring training games when all things were halted. But Keith, really a great guy there, and the Curcio family, big parts of our family, always a part of our T-Bone family, and wishing Bobby you're a speedy recovery too, mate, and blessings to you and your family in Florida. Who else we got out there? Did I miss anybody? If I missed you, I'm sorry. Paige Calfapietra says she can't wait for the season to see everyone again. We miss baseball. Paige, you and your sister rock. The Calfapietra family, they rock. They're just a great, great, great people. Appreciate them as well. Nate Miller Time. By the way, two little quick items. I meant to get these earlier. The interviews went long. How about this? I'm going to tease two little pieces of information for you, right? One of them comes from Nate Miller. The other one comes from Chris Brown. Chris Brown told me, you guys were asking about ballpark construction. Chris teased me and told me that they have added some extra padding in the seats. That's been done. It's done. It's done. How about that? You guys were asking about construction update. I have that note. Also, and we're going to have Nate on to talk about this in April here shortly. What a week and a half, 1 week. Be a new infield for the ballpark. How about that? Nate, I know you're excited about that. We're going to have Miller Time on. Maybe next week, have him talk about that. But new infield, first time in 10 years, the ballpark will have a new infield. How about that news? Two pieces of news right there you weren't going to get anywhere else. You got them right here on the Steakhouse. Two great entrees from the menu. Padded seats and new infield. How about that? Good things ahead for T-Bone Faithful. All right, what else we got here? Wrapping it up here, some more thank yous. Who'd I miss? Morgan, I mentioned her. Millie, I believe I mentioned you. I believe Bernard Crawford, looking forward to moving forward. We will win. Yes, we will, Bernard. We're going to win for sure, mate. I know it. And looking forward to having, I believe that's his son that will be part of our ball club this year, Gary Thomas. Gift card still available. Yes, I'm going to answer all that. Aaron, there's your construction update. Rob Olson, all you guys. Trying to make sure Jacob down there, Scott Hull, others. And one more we got. Yes, don't forget, my mom tells you, reach out to your local agencies who are serving at risk population. If you're in the metro, Kansas City, you're watching us there, which I know most of you are, reach out locally on either side of the state lines. Reach out locally, do what you can to help. I will be helping this week. There's a local mission here, Victory Midtown Missions, which is a group of guys from my church who have a mission they work with not too far from our neighborhood, and they are going to be doing a food bank for the needy folks that are in need during this time. And I'll be helping pass out some things with my my Bible study group, church group, which we'll be doing that tomorrow, just for a short time, and just helping out the neighborhood, reaching out there wherever you're watching us. If you're watching us anywhere else than those, help your local area out and be a part of the community. For us that are able to help, let's help, and let's help do what we can. So all good stuff. Everybody, thank you again. I want to keep talking because I miss you guys. But next Wednesday, same time, same place. Again, I'll be bringing in a new show. Unfortunately, I don't have the details of what I want to do. It's really more just be sitting down and figuring out how I want to work through this thing. But it will be some type of new show unveiled right on Facebook Live, and I'll give you those details the next couple of days, and we'll unveil it and go from there. And of course, every Wednesday, the Steakhouse is open for you. Questions, comments, submit your videos to me as well. Keep me updated. I want to know what you're doing. I want to know how you're doing, how you're passing the time, and most importantly, let's all be kind and good to each other. How about that? All right. Appreciate everybody today. Great show. Good stuff. Just great vibes and good things ahead. Just keep the faith and let's get going forward, and we will go to great things once we pass this time, and we'll pass this time. You know, there's a time and place for everything, and good times are ahead. Let's just get through it all. Okay. Blessings to all of you guys. Time to I'll give you this closing sign. I don't have a closing sign, but there's your open sign. So we'll just take me down, and I will turn the open sign off and hide me away, and we will go end of the day. Again, thanks for joining me, everybody. I love y'all. Go T-Bones, and we'll see you next time on the Steakhouse.